Okay, thanks, Jess. Thanks for coming. I feel like all of you know Union Hall by now, but just really quickly, we are a nonprofit art space that predominantly supports emerging artists and curators, and also local, mostly local. Hi guys. Help yourself to snacks or drinks. And I just want to quickly thank our sponsors, Colorado Community Foundation and Colorado Creative Industries, for making this exhibition possible and this talk possible. And the Denver Theater District as well, who supported us with the materials grant for the materials in this exhibition. So welcome to the artist talk for Warning Me a Ma, created by Diego Florez-Arroyo. Diego is not just an artist, but he's also a poet, a musician, and a playwright. So he works across many different mediums, and he has a penchant for combining modern issues with mythology, specifically Aztec mythology, through various mediums, predominantly painting. And so this exhibition in particular explores the mother and all of its in various aspects, from earthly to spiritual, to biological even. And so the central piece in this show is actually it's titled after the title, Warning Me a Ma, and it's behind me, this really vivid, colorful work back here. And so this piece kind of focuses on the earthly aspect and also features the tension between the manufactured and the organic. And what I really love about this piece beyond that is the collaboration that kind of went into making it more bright and vivid and colorful than it already was. When me and Diego were installing the show, we started playing around with the lights, and I had never really played around with the gels before. The gels are the colors that you can slide on the end of the light to kind of give it a different hue. And we sort of realized there's just so much capability with these lights. And so we kind of treated this like a theater lighting situation, and there's probably like 20 something lights on it. Different aspects are all lit up. So all the red and the blues and the greens are lit with red, blue, and green lights. So it kind of makes it pop a lot more. And I think the intention behind that became apparent to us. So yeah, the scale of this work and the vividness is kind of intentionally set to contrast the two sort of more muted Aztec figures on the sides. And it kind of hints at the understated world of spirit that is around us and the kind of the lack of attention that we give to it. And so that's kind of some of the curatorial placement that went on with those. And another thing that I was really touched by hearing Diego talk about was and forgive me if I mispronounce it and you can correct me, is the Nahuatl language. Nahuatl? Okay. Which is the original Aztec language. And he speaks about, well, we were just kind of casually talking about it, and there is just like such a reverence for nature, and a language can really color the way that you approach the world and the philosophy behind the way that you approach the world. And so I was really impressed by some of the phrases that stood out to me, and we definitely chatted a lot about how language can shape our approach, and especially in terms of this piece, the main central piece here, and how we live in this very money-driven society. But I'll let Diego speak more to the intricacies and all of the different pieces in this exhibition, I just wanted to give a really brief introduction on what I felt like had to do with the curatorial approach and what impressed me about the work. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah. So, I'll just put it on your shirt.
Hey y'all, thank y'all for coming. Appreciate you. Good to see all of your faces. Appreciate you for being here. This work is definitely my most intricate and vulnerable works. Making work in this day and age is we can choose to see the world around us or create an escape from it. And in that, it's hard to look at the truth of the matter, the fact of the matter. A lot of mainstream media has been talking about the impending doom of the earth for some time now, for over 20 years. And a lot of the desensitization of the masses towards environmental justice has been apparent. You know, lots of kids growing up in a world where it's a joke, you know, and it becomes same thing with war. You know, the desensitization with video games, with all of these things. We're starting to deal with a new set of people that don't lack the empathy, but just weren't brought up in a world where it matters and where it is a focus. Regardless of the medium that I choose to make in, I try to make things that ignite from within. And so in these works, some of them are hard to look at for me too, and but at the same time too, it's even more now important than ever to truly make choices and make action based on what we believe and how to make change. So I want to start by saying that. So when this show came, first initial conversations with Esther, just had finished up the play with Control Group Productions, and throughout that process, taking time to write Guactemocin was a catharsis of an understanding of myself, a deeper understanding of who I am, where I come from, what I believe, and how to express that to the world around me. Some of the harder scenes to write for me were my scenes about my mother. That space, so for those of you that don't know, my mother was deported when I was 16 years old. Back to Juarez, Chihuahua, and I'm 28 years old now, understanding and navigating that relationship still. And going into this election season, there's a lot of things that can divide us, but one thing that we cannot deny that brings us all together is that we have a mother, regardless of the relationship that we have with her or that she has with us, or however the case may be. And because of that, it's a basis where we can stand as equals and stand as individuals that have an origin, and that's important. And these works, like I said, they're the most intricate and vulnerable. The vulnerability definitely from the emotional side of the context of the work, and the intricacies in the craftsmanship and in the craftsmanship. Taking lots of different brushes, mediums, ideas, concepts to actualize reality has been an honor, and so thank you, Esther, for allowing me to make whatever I felt and to welcome it into the gallery. That's not always the case, so in spaces like this, truly thankful to be encouraged to express myself fully. With this corner here, wanted to invite people in. The title, Warning Mi Ama, definitely wanted to spark interest just off the bat, When you hear that title, anyone here, what do you think?
I mean, definitely that it's going to be spicy, that it's not going to be like just a love story or a love poem to
Totally. And seeing those three, seeing the world for its existence through the three lenses of the spiritual mother, the one that brought us all here, some scientists call it the Big Bang. Different origin stories talk about the one that gave birth to herself. And in Aztec mythology, that's Coatlicue. And so having this here is awesome. But has everyone here experienced the work yet? Can we take a break and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do like a 10, 15 minutes where people can experience the work, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So let's do that. Thank y'all. Now that we've all taken some time with the work, let's all come back together. Okie doke. So I'm gonna open up for questions now. Any questions? Any insights? Things that you witnessed? Things that you that affected you? Love to start there. Anyone?
I'll ask a question just to start off. But this piece made of cinder
This one?
blocks. Yeah. Have you ever worked with cinder blocks before, and what kind of inspired this? Is this a new process for you, and what inspired it?
So this work, I want to say, has been bubbling in me my whole life. My relationship with walls and with concrete and with concrete blocks, specifically concrete walls, has been an affinity since I was a little kid. And growing up, going back and forth to Juarez, Chihuahua, there was a lot of like kind of half wall kind of things, and like there was specifically this one place that's like by my auntie's house, and it's kind of by the cemetery in Juarez, where it was just kind of like everyone's first graffiti space, and so it kind of ignited some of those familiar memories. Starting to utilize it in this way is definitely a new process for me. I feel like, but also too, it's like a culmination of all these things. My love for Mexica philosophy and history and tradition, but being able to express it in a modern context is such an honor. because it has that same feeling as something that has been dug up, something that has been either hidden or made in devotion. And so it's really an honor for this to come through and to be present in my work. I definitely see it as a piece, now a piece to what I make and how I make, but definitely not the central piece. So, yeah. Any other questions?
So, I wanted to ask about this large mural. So Esther was talking about how when you installed it, you sort of played around with filters and lighting. And I've seen it a few times, and I remember when I first sort of encountered it, walking up to it and trying to make sense of it, and suddenly realizing that these sort of lines of light that are coming out of the sky are actually projected. And as I walked up to it, they changed because my shadow was blocking them. And it really drew me into it because I realized that I was affecting the mural. And that's not something that you often, when you encounter art, you don't often get to affect it. So I was wondering if you plan to have these kind of interactive lights, or if it was something that sort of came spontaneously after you installed it.
The initial strokes with this painting, so we can all come in here. Let's come in here and to look at it so we know what we're talking about. If you had the opportunity to see the advertisement for this, it's on Instagram. It shows the initial time lapse of the painting of this. I wanted to approach the piece, and I planned on not planning. And whenever you do that, you are open to all possibilities, and because all possibilities are present, it gets hairy, because with painting, it's like layers on top of layers, and it's like if you liked that previous layer and you painted over it, it's gone. And so started with yellow, and I went in with a 4-inch roller to make it just intuitive guttural marks. And through layers and layers of those guttural expressions, started to see different spaces, like this water. This is like blue. It was just blue at that point. This blue below me and this blue above me, and obviously feeling that is water. In the painting of this, I spent a lot of time looking at it. I definitely spent more time looking at it than actually painting it, because it's like having getting that slight little vision or glimpse of what it should be. It kind of tells you what it needs. To choose to put this like super light here in the center of everything, it was like, once I seen it, I was like, it has to be there. It has to go there. So the piece, I started outlining with these bigger shapes, circles, kind of defining what is what. These like rock kind of formations here after the fact, but these colors, they sing sediment to me, and they sing like formation, and so allowing that experience to be enhanced in that way, and not trying to another piece that I brought in while making this was I'm not trying to paint it perfect. I'm trying to capture the essence of it. Instead of, if I were to focus on painting a rose bush, then every piece of the rose bush has to be painted in reference to itself. But if it's just a space of red and there happens to be a rose, then we have enough information to understand what it is, but then allowing the viewer to the eye to move more fluidly through the piece.
Can I ask you a question?
I'm almost done. Yeah, so that was the process at the house, trying to capture these feelings, these innate feelings, but also too getting down to the specifics. It's like this piece is very political. If you may or may not have noticed, like all these here are Fortune 500 companies. What do you guys think this piece is about? What, any ideas? Because there's a lot of little things that you may like about it, but if the meaning of the piece goes, then there's no point of the painting.
It's America.
America? The continent or the
Yeah, I'd say the continent, yeah.
Okay.
Because
Explain more.
It seems like a landscape to me. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Stand in your answer. Do you feel that?
Yeah, and I love the lighting. Oh my gosh, yes.
We kind of veered off real fast back to the beauty, but in the piece, what the meaning of it? What do you feel it is about this continent?
It seems like mountains and sky, the sunlight, flowers. It seems like a representation of the city in the middle. Road maps, volcano. I don't know, like looking into a river. Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of just pieces of the country, of the continent. Yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
And then this aspect of there's that corporate aspect. Where isn't there a corporate aspect?
For sure. How does the corporate aspect jump out to you? What does it say?
I think it was subtle. I mean, I think the rest of the piece kind of draws my eye more than those corporate logos, but in the way they're on top of each other, it's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of where they belong. Big, get inundated with that stuff all the time. So putting it all like that, I think it has a good feel to me, but it's not what, I don't see that as what the piece is about. That's kind of just an element of a bigger picture.
What is the bigger picture to you?
That land, kind of a dreamscape landscape almost, I guess. Yeah. With some really unique features. I feel the water element, the sky element, the mountains, the lighting, flowers. Man, I don't know. Just look into this riverbed. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? What?
I just wanted to
Your
say
question?
something.
Yeah.
So this piece over here is
Around the corner?
yeah, around the corner, but you don't have to look at it right now. But it seems like you're moving into this new style of painting, where there's these kind of abstracted shapes layered over, the image that also kind of suggest maybe like a multi-dimensional aspect of things, and you've kind of brought that into this piece, but with this piece you've taken it further, because it's not just a line that moves into another style of work or a different scenery. This in particular, you're using pie charts, this sort of like these abstract shapes that are thrown in here, but then there's also this idea of these pie charts that are enveloping these corporate logos. And so I just wanted to say that I think that was a really brilliant direction to take this piece from sort of like playing with that original idea and then moving into this. And I was wondering if you could expound upon that decision a little bit.
Definitely. I'm gonna finish your question real quick. We kind of went on a tangent. Once we got into the space, this lighting is only here, you know, and it's an honor to work with. Knowing that I was going to come here and that this space is dark, wanted to make a viewing space. As an artist, this is what I'm working with. The how I see it emotionally, physically, and been working with peripheral vision a lot. What are the things that we're not looking at? The things that the things you can't look at. And so putting these in the space alongside, it's like this is a representation for the sun and so many more things. It has a moon calendar, a sun calendar. There are big movements in history that are recorded here. There's so much information in the sunstone. And then on this side we have Coyochauqui in the center, which is the moon, and then two deities on each side. One is Xochitlicue on the left, and she's the mother of the waters, fertility, and earth water. And then on the right we have Tlazolteotl, and she's like the filth eater, the decomposer, the one that turns the soil, the one that has that space. And so within the concept of the show with the three mothers, I knew that I wanted to make a big painting, but also too, I wanted to make a big painting for my mother, and the biological mother. But going into this, understanding exactly where the world is right now, it's like the mother that needs the most attention is our Earth Mother. And so I wanted to capture her in her essence and what she is as an individual, as all of the beauty, but also too the madness that surrounds her, the way that we take advantage of her, the way that we exploit our Earth, you know, and that the beauty itself is only a piece, and if we don't protect it, then it's not going to be there for much longer. And so a lot of conceptual like a puzzle, you know, because I decided to paint this painting without the plan. So it's like all guttural gestures, all this is throwing paint, moving paint, choosing to put these logos here. It's definitely a choice. It's not an accident. Nothing on here is an accident. But in those visions, in those feelings, using these things that we understand, like pie charts, you know. So if we look at this as a pie chart, and this is the petri dish of that pie chart, here we got green. What do you guys think that that's a representation for? Money. And then we got black. What do you think that that's a representation for? Oil. Death or oil. And then we got red here. And what do you think that is?
Fire.
It's definitely.
Anger.
And then here we got like dripping. So what do you think that is?
Water.
Yeah, it's raining.
Totally. So it's like this is our small pie chart, and then we zoom out and we see these different things. And so this war and oil is all based off of profit while the earth is burning. And so it's like what these, while we are trying to make ends meet, driving our car to work every day, all these choices that are insane if we were asked to stop. But the truth is that these are all things that have been brought onto us within the last couple hundred years. These are not things that humans innately need. So really wanted to make that present. Here we have a tower, industrialization, all these different things. And as we move over into this side, what do you guys see here? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I was in Mexico, in a place called El Salto. The bridge was called El Salto, the river was called El Salto. That used to be the river that people fished out of, bathed out of, got their water out of. But now that river, you smell it before you even see it. It's polluted. They got multinational corporations upriver, IBM, Hershey's. They couldn't do it here in the United States, but they go over there. They create this destruction. The inhumane treatment of the natural world. That's what that represents to me. The single-use plastics, all the destruction caused by the financial gain or for whatever by the corporations. We bring this on. And little by little, we how do you say? We don't say anything, so we coalesce by not saying anything. So we contribute to it all. That's what he was saying about the gas and everything else. But that's what it reminds me of man's drive. And man's drive is killing our money. We pollute our water, what are we going to drink? Right? We pollute our land, it's already now we don't get no minerals out of our land. We have to take vitamins and minerals, The minerals are gone out of our land from all the fertilization and all the chemicals. Even your crops doesn't carry the vitamins and minerals it used to. We're already polluting that. But anyway.
Thank you.
It reminds me of.
Thank you, Joe.
The inhumane treatment of our world. That's what it reminds me of.
I totally agree. So I study environmental systems, and it's totally true that the nutrition in our vegetables is being depleted because our soils are being depleted. But I feel like when I look at this, like, Diego, when I hear you talking about this sort of like dystopian future, I look at this and I feel the colors, and I feel like it's like you have a vision of a utopia. And maybe that's just because the colors are so vibrant, and maybe it's because of the way that they're projected. But it's I'm having sort of this contradiction in me as I hear you talking about this piece, and I feel sort of I feel your words, and I agree a lot, and I think a lot about the things that I really do research in environmental studies. But I look at this and I feel a lot of hope.
Yeah, it's vibrant. It's colorful. The colors are striking.
The natural world will survive. It doesn't mean humanity will.
True. Sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We're just walking on Mama's back until she goes. And I agree with you. And I wanted to paint this as a choice. We have a choice, and it's like we can escape to this utopia while it's still burning, or we can take action to move to that. And it's like we do see the beauty of life every day, the marvels and the miracles, but also too, it's like it's a choice to see that as well. And so definitely strong juxtaposition, you know, within the piece. And I had a conversation with someone talking about why I painted this big painting. And it was like, this could be 7 different paintings, but it has to be one painting because it's interconnected. We can't have one side without the other. We can't have the utopia without working towards it. And so it's like, definitely here on this, so we focused on this side, you know, spent a lot of time talking about this, but it's like here in the center really felt like the rock nation, the rock people, they've been here for millions of years and will be here for millions of years, and the seasons will change, the skies will change, it'll be, you know, but here it's like, we have the circle of life from seed to germination to sprout to stalk and then back into the circle of life. And there's no sun, but there's a inference to a sun or an implication of a sun. And here we see like that ray getting to that corn. And as we know in history, what corn has done for humanity and where it comes from. And it's from these lands, and how that's the center of the circle, you know, that's the center of it all. Here it's also like a phallic symbol, so it's like the grapes, but also too that seed of life in that way too. So it's like kind of like those cycles, you know, we're constantly in this cycle, in this cycle, in this cycle. And so painting this side, I tried to just like put my blockers on and just forget about this for a second in order to live in that, to bring that eye, you know, there to rest and sit and be. Definitely impressionistic work. Expressionistic painting style, with the touches of realism here and there, but really wanted to make it open, you know, and make it free.
What's the future of this piece for you, and how does this piece drive you financially?
Will you ask your question one more time?
What's the future of this piece in particular, and how does this piece drive you financially?
The future of this piece will be looked at, annotated, and researched one day and studied. Where it will live, there's an extensive contract that goes with it. It will forever be in my estate. It's available for lease. If you are interested, then you could talk to the peoples. But financially, if I were to function solely off of what and how much money I would make off of my artwork would not look like this. And my intention for the work, artwork is a tool, and if we diminish it to only a financial vocation, then I should stop making work. The archetype of the artist has always been the one that holds up the mirror, and in that we have to rip ourselves apart in order to see what's left and how that feels. Choosing to paint when you're hungry is a choice.
bold, that's awesome, that's great.
It's obviously not painted for someone's house. I don't think very many people have this size of a wall in order for it to just live in their wherever.
And you're unlikely to frame it too, I think, right?
It depends on the situation. I've already had offers to lease this in a government building. The work has been up since Halloween, so definitely people are interested, but definitely not my intention. Mm-hmm. For sure. Thank you. Anyone else?
Diego, can you talk about this light that's coming off the canvas here?
Yeah, we have Esther. Everybody give Esther a round of applause. We seen it and it was had to be kept it, keep it. 10 out of 10. See, that's the thing is that how do we get this to wherever it needs to be with this lighting? You know, so I've been trying to think about different ways, different things like that. I think where I've come to the conclusions I've come to there are projecting light onto it so that I'm able to have, but that'll be more studio experiments. But the piece is listed for a price. It's not really that much money. It sounds like a lot of money, but also too, the amount of money is like right there, and it's like not even that much money. So it's like it's not even pile. You know, it doesn't barely stacks. You know, so you know, so if that's how you feel, it's available. Yeah, so it's the moon, the mom, the big Earth mother. I wanted to include these pieces here as support for this work. I think that continues with the juxtaposition of the organic and the inorganic. There's such a strong push towards animatronic existence, artificial intelligence. We live in that time. It is present and it is happening if we choose it or not. And so it's up to us how we interact with it, why we interact with it, how we utilize it. The beauty of the natural world is the shifts in the water. We are water, and any kind of shift, uncomfortable, comfortable, reminiscent, any kind of feeling that we feel from within is because of our shift in our water. And that is something that is organic through and through, and that those visions can't be quantified, or we are translators for those visions as humans. We get those glimpses, and then depending on our ability to express how that is within ourselves, we can communicate and sometimes can't communicate what exactly we're feeling. And that's the beauty of the human experience, I feel. So wanted to reference the Vitruvian Man and the Tesla robot concept that they have. Wanted to reference the Vitruvian Man because this piece is all made with my geometry. Like only I could have made this piece. Each one of these circles I did by myself. So it's these are all things that are my geometry. Much like dancers, you know, whenever they could do that type of spin in that type of way and have that kind of footing. So those kind of ideas. Now that we've experienced the meat of the show, is there any last questions before we move forward? Cool. I'd love.
I'm sort of scared
Yes.
to ask with this because
Yes.
I love the conversation, and I just am loving continuing to stare at this and like all of the like everything that's been said so far. I find the truth in that, but it feels like a cancerous body to me, like, and it's unclear what the diagnosis is, and I can see both, like, you know, the way that it's like it's almost like a you know, like a TV screen bright in the green, like it draws your eye. It's not just a hateful rejection of these Fortune 500 logos. There's something really magnetic there that makes you want to stare at it. And then like this, like, I mean, I can't decide whether this is like a still life that sits on your mom's kitchen table or like an actual cornucopia that is like, whether it's like the tightly packaged, like sort of fake version nature or the real thing. And then like, I feel like the whole, like, it feels like the whole thing is underwater, like in those beams of light coming through. Yeah, I can see the sky, but I think the whole thing is like, yeah, I mean, is sort of drowning in something. And so, I mean, like I think my question is like, does this for you have an overriding emotion, either that you carried as you were painting it or that you carry as you look at the product? 'Cause, I mean, yeah, and I'm scared for the answer because for me, it's awesomely complex and it's not vague in its question, but it's like, it's embracing the fact of like, you know, a cancerous body has vibrant pieces, has pieces untouched by sickness, and then has pieces that are entirely destroyed, and then the battleground in between, and it feels like it owns all of that, and yeah. I don't know. So to answer my question, if you dare.
Will you ask it one more time?
What is there an overriding, like a foundational emotional load that this work carries for you, or is it pointing in a bunch of directions?
Yes, this work is a catharsis. It's like if we sit with the concepts of the piece, it's uncomfortable. It's not. It doesn't make a happy, you know. But at the same time, too, it makes us value the beauty. It like because of any traumatic experience in your life, it only makes you be thankful that you're no longer existing within that. And so that it's kind of that in a way where being honest, just sitting with the truth. The truth is from all perspectives. And so because you have to have all perspectives in play, you start to see new things. And it was definitely a choice to say all this. And because I felt it inside of me, and it was like, I know I'm not the only one. I know that it's not just an accident or and through the catharsis, I'm able to understand deeper what I believe and why I believe it and how I maneuver through life. I don't drive. I don't own a vehicle. I take public transportation and walk the rest of the way. And so all those kind of things. And it's the overriding feeling is the same as death and birth. Birth and death being in order to have lived, in order to die, you have to have lived. And so it's kind of that Tao kind of space coming from there. Does that help? Does that answer in a way? Yeah. Cool. So this painting over here in this corner, if y'all would like to get in, crowd around that. It's definitely, this is my favorite painting I've ever painted up to this point. After you, come on in, come check it out.
We got to leave, but
Okay.
awesome. Love the show and artwork. Yeah,
Right on. Thank you for being here.
you bet. Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Right on.
Sorry we're late,
No, it's okay.
but we caught
I love the way that this piece is lit in here. Having the black walls is such a piece that I didn't know how much it would enhance, you know, but I love it. It truly gives the sides more of a washed out feeling, but also too brings the girl to the focal point, and you kind of forget about everything else. This piece is about the future. The future is our children and the ways that we support them. And when we were bringing everything into the gallery, felt like there was a lot of mom energy, a lot of grandma energy, but it needed that youth side of it, that little girl that, you know, thinking about not only just a little girl, but a cultural event. You know, this is the little girl in her piñata, you know, and I think we all, when we are honored and thought of, it's like endearing, you know, and having that moment captured. I feel like Anthony Mays was the photographer. He did a great job capturing this moment. This is a collaboration between us. His work focuses on documentarianism, and he shoots in portrait or landscape, and so the actual picture kind of comes out to here, and there's a building here that says was 4698. And he was like, man, you left out, I showed him the sketch for the piece, and he was like, man, you left out the best part. It was like, was 4698. And I took a second and I thought about it, and I told him, I was like, you're the photographer, you're the documentarian, I'm the painter. And so it's like, for me, this picture is about the little girl and her piñata. And so it, in that day, we both grew as artists because we were able to stand in our craft that much more and value each other from cross-craft. Being given a composition to make specifically, like, this is a photo, and being able to have the freedom to adjust and paint it as I see fit was an honor. To be encouraged to do that, I feel like it has such a playful spirit as well. The piece, this underpainting vibe, like I get to see in the studio when I'm making it, you know, a lot of times, and so bringing that space to the gallery, I feel like is such a vulnerable place to be in, because it's like it's not done, but at the same time too, choosing for it to be that way, I feel like took courage inside of myself to honor that I enjoyed that, and that it doesn't have to, every piece doesn't have to be this meticulous thing. And whenever I paint like that, sometimes I start to resent the painting. I almost don't like painting anymore. And so I have been still reaping the benefits of the lessons from this painting. Up top and on the bottom is latex house paint. In the center is acrylic, golden acrylic, and then on the side panels here are oil paint. And oil paint was the only medium that was able to give me that soft of an edge. And so really want to continue to work in that direction where each medium has its purpose. I'm using this medium for this purpose, and not not just because I wanted 3 or 4 mediums on there. And so, yeah, I really love this piece, and I think it's such a great space in the gallery. The lighting is ridiculous. So give another round of applause for Union Hall.
Diego, this one also has that sort of focal point with the periphery situation going on that we have, like just over here in general, that I think is really interesting. And this is a new direction for you, correct?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep moving in this space. There's a lot of ideas that I have on how to expand this concept and continue working in like, what's the word? To invoke nostalgia. I want to have a set of work that's to be made for 2025, and definitely want to continue exploring the child inside, as well as on the technical aspect, putting things out of focus, and what do we focus on? Like what as an artist, we have the opportunity to force you to look at things. When people come to see your work, this is a path where you're inviting people to cross your T's and dot your I's, and that's not always the case in every journey, every career. And with that, want to make things that raise consciousness and bring the shadows to the forefront. We often see a lot of escapism and kind of not looking at the hard stuff, you know? So taking time to be gentle with that too, you know, but still bring it to the forefront.
This piece also makes me think of memory too. You know, when you remember being a child, where there's these really specific moments where you remember all the details, and then maybe you don't remember details of other situations or things that were around you.
I love the way, I mean, like, it feels so much like her memory, that, like, you know, the details she remembers, the pinata and the tree, and, you know, what else she can see right past it, and who's there doesn't really matter. The environment that she's in is just like, is house paint.
I love that.
Thank you for sharing. Do you mind doing a brief
Yeah, let's do it. Let's finish it up.
thing on the?
Nice. Y'all come in and have a seat if you want. Come on in on the couch. We can just sit in grandma's. We can just sit in grandma's living room. So with the heaviness of the other side, wanted to bring a place of contemplation and home. Wanted to bring home into the gallery. These are family photos from my family. Pictures of me when I was little. My aunties, my uncles, my mom. I wouldn't be here without her, you know, without them. And so it's kind of like, don't forget where you came from, but in a way where it's like, where you come from is so vibrant. So bring that, you know, bring that feeling. These pieces are paintings, some of the few paintings that I made last year while I was in process of the play. The reference photos for the roses are reference photos that I took in Salt Lake City. I was playing a festival there, a music festival, and the Airbnb had just like the most beautiful rose bush outside, and it had this like yellow, orange, red, pink petals, and it was just ridiculous. When we started to bring everything together into the gallery, everything started to play on each other. Like this is a mantel that my mom cross-stitched. And when I went to my dad's house to gather the photos, he pulled this out. And really thankful, you know, like to have these kind of things, to be able to share these kind of things. It's not easy to be to show all the parts of who you are and what you are and why you are. And I feel like that's the most empowering part as well, when we're able to know or have this like slight fear of any kind of judgment or any kind of whatever, but then we just sit into and stand in it. Then there's nothing that anyone can hold over us, or it's no longer fear. It's a power. It's a source of pride and self-understanding. On this phone right here is a call from my mother. This piece is also one of the older pieces in the show. This is a collage from 2018. But on this phone has a call from my mom, and it was hard to make that call. Like I don't talk to my mom much because it's the same conversation over and over, and it's always you need to get a job. I came to this country for you to go to school, and things like that. And I respect my mom for her point of view. I'm thankful for the life I live and the opportunities that I have to make work. It's not always the case for artists to be able to continue to make things and to be encouraged to make things. And being in this space where the community supports me, different organizations support me, and I have materials, space, and the will to make, it just keeps flooding in, and so I'm thankful for it. It's an honor, it's a blessing, and it's a prayer that I'm carrying forward, and it's I hope it's an inspiration to each of you to continue on your path as individuals, and because whenever we engage in that conversation with creation, anything is possible. And if what we have to choose and open ourselves up to be able to see things for the truth that they are. If we are lying to ourselves, we never get down to the nitty gritty, and peeling these layers off like an onion, you know, and seeing what's left is part of my journey as an individual, talking about existence as an external to my internal, and this space, I wanted it to invoke a feeling of home and nostalgia, and for the opening, for those of you that were here, you know that my grandma was here, and dressed up like a grandmother, and it was not easy. Dressing up as a grandma is not easy, and I can only imagine being a grandma, you know, not taking it off. This is just who you are and what you are, you know, and but then to it was a perfect way to be received, to receive people, I guess, you know, because that was the other thing is I was happy about when people came around this corner, they're like, oh shit, this was ridiculous, you know, and that was fun, you know, but it was not easy. So hats off to all the grandmas. Rest in peace, my grandma, Margaret Euclides Flores, is the only grandparent I got to meet. Up here I have my mom's mother, and my dad's mother, and in the center is a portrait of my mom and my older brother's dad when they were 16 years old in Juarez, Chihuahua, in the early 70s. That I felt if she knew that this was here, she would hate it. She would, but also too, it's like an ode to a piece of my mom that I don't know, you know. It's like my mom had a whole life before I was born. She was 36 when she had me, and so just honoring her life, you know, as a young girl, as a single mother, as someone coming to this country, you know, without the papers that they want for you and stuff, and then being here, starting a family, and then being forced to go back. It's like it's all part of her story and part of mine, and so wanted to share all that, you know, in a good way, you know, not easy way, but good way. So thank you all for coming. Truly, it means the world that each of you were here, that we could record this and talk about the work. If there's any more questions, we'll talk about it off camera. So thank you all for being here.